Hey VC, it's Joel coming at you from Planet 13, and these are my pickups for April 2021. I don't have too much to show you because I'm trying to keep my budget to about $100 a month. Of course, with delays in shipping and production and all that, it's kind of hard to do because I pre-order a lot of stuff. So things I show now, I pre-ordered back in January, February. They finally arrived because what's going on in the world is just slowing things down. I guess it's a bit of a domino effect. Everything's just, a mess right now, but I'm optimistic it's going to get better. Anyway, the first album I picked up was inspired by Jeff at Various Vinyl for two reasons. For one reason, I won a contest of Jeff's, so he sent me a gift certificate. And another one is that he has got a great new weekly series going on where he just takes one album that he enjoys and he just wants to discuss, and he just kind of gives some trivia on it, and he goes down through a breakdown of all the songs and gives his opinion about those songs. Really interesting perspective because Jeff himself is like a songwriter and a singer and a guitarist, so he knows his stuff. So really like that series. I'll leave a link below to Jeff's channel, and he recently did one on Ace Frehley, and he was talking about Rock Soldiers, and that song was stuck in my head ever since Jeff was talking about it. And he was also saying, the album he was covering, he's like, there's no real difference between the CD and the vinyl. So you should probably get the CD if it's cheaper. And I didn't get the CD. I got the live version, which recently came out. This came out on pre-order on Amazon. So this is Ace Frehley's Greatest Hits Live. Nice little breakdown of Kiss songs and solo songs by Ace Frehley. And two LPs. Nothing really fancy, no color discs or anything, just black LPs. Get a nice little essay and such. And, a nice little breakdown of the live tracks where they were performed. And yeah, there's a center label there. Again, pretty kind of meat and potatoes set up here, nothing fancy, but I don't mind. The songs sound great. You know, they don't sound as great as the Black Sabbath released the Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell with some live tracks. These songs don't sound that great, but they sound good enough. And pretty good album. Recommend it. It's not that expensive, and it's pretty cool. And the next album I picked up is Green Day's Insomniac. This is the 25th anniversary edition. It's on two LPs. Comes on like an aluminum kind of foiled cover, very shiny, which is kind of nice. Two LPs. So LP 1 is just the studio tracks from that album. And you get some custom inner sleeves here too. And then side 2 or album 2 is just some live tracks from the album. Only on side A, and then on side B you get an etching, which it's kind of a busy etching, but I'll take it. And anyway, great album. I was kind of hesitant to get this because I have some PSTD from a Green Day concert, and it's rather silly. So back in '94, I went to Woodstock and I saw Green Day, and that's where I really became familiar with them. And that's kind of what broke them out too. They had the video from Woodstock that was a big success, and then I saw them again in, I think, that tour for Insomniac. I think it was 95, 96. Anyway, I'm from Canada, and I live in this town called Hamilton, and they were performing in Toronto. And I was quite young. I was still in high school, and we had to get to Toronto, and we had to take the bus, and it got expensive to take the bus, or you take the train or whatever. And it's like, it should only be like a 45-minute jaunt, but it usually ends up taking 2 hours because you got to show up early for the train, and then there's always delays or there's traffic, and So it took us like 2 hours to get down there, and the concert itself was expensive. It was like, I think it cost me $35, which back then in 1995, 1996, concerts usually cost like $20 or whatnot. And then Green Day only played for like 35 minutes. So it was like one of the worst concerts I ever went to. It was a great 35 minutes that they played, but you make that 2 hour trek down, you expect a show, and I didn't get a show. And when I came out of the concert, I think it was still daylight, which is unusual. And yeah, it just felt like all that money I paid with the bus. And yeah, so I know I'm complaining here, but I know a lot of people had the same complaints. So that's I'm just going on with it. I've seen Green Day since live, and they now put on like a 2.5 hour show, and it's phenomenal. But just back then, I just remember being really disappointed, especially after seeing out Woodstock, because you had this like really cool Woodstock concert, then you had this like meh kind of like where's my show concert? Yeah, I'm babbling. So I'll move on to my next album. My next album I picked up is the Faith No More Greatest Hits. So this is the UK version of the album. The Americans, they get a different cover. Being in Canada, I get like kind of the best of both worlds and the worst of being in Canada for vinyl. So usually in Canada, I have access to European versions for a regular price, where it costs you a lot more in the States for some reason. And that's kind of cool, because this cover is way better than the American version, which is really, I think the American version is just like a big question mark on black, basically. So this, you get something a little different here. Yeah, greatest hits from, their 5 early albums. And you get a gatefold with some, inner tracks and whatnot. And this is just on standard black. Nothing really fancy about the center labels either. Just basic track listing and whatnot. But yeah, really cool. I'm happy to have this. I have all their material on CD. I'm a big Faith No More fan, but I'm happy to just have their hits on vinyl. I don't think I'll really seek out their other albums on vinyl unless they come out with some special editions or whatnot, just because the price of vinyl is just too expensive. Next album I picked up was Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight, just standard basic version on black. Nothing fancy here. But you get some nice custom inner sleeves that it came on, some lyrics. And they were nice enough to ship it in a paper sleeve, but it's not, I don't think it's waxed. It might be. I don't think it is though. So it was nice enough that they included this, but I wish it was waxed. Yeah, whatever. What can you do? Good album. Good album. My copy, it was a little messed up. It had some black on the vinyl, but I was able to snap it off, like a black blob on the edge, but I was able to just kind of like snap it off. I took that risk. I didn't really want it to return to Amazon unless I had to, but once I snapped it off, it came off with these, and it plays fine, so I didn't return it to get another version. But yeah, pretty good album. No one's really talking about it that much, but it's a good listen, and I think people will be talking about this album a little more as years go on. It's a fun album. It's very uplifting, very enjoyable. If you haven't heard it, give it a listen on Spotify. It's a good little fun album. Next album I picked up is, everyone's kind of familiar with this, so I won't show it too much. Black Crowes, Shake Your Moneymaker, 30th Anniversary Edition. Cool album. Favorite album of mine by them. Well, the first 4 I like a lot. I haven't really heard anything after that. But yeah, basic standard black. Yeah, you get like a nice little insert here. I kind of regret not going for the deluxe version, but at the same time, I'm just kind of happy with this. I'm a Black Crowes fan, but again, with them, I don't really need the extras. I kind of went on a big Black Crowes binge about 10 years ago, and I think I had my fill of them back then, so it's just nice to hear just the classic material once more. Next album I picked up is Young Shakespeare by Neil Young. Everyone's kind of familiar with this album by now. I won't show it off too much. Yeah, you get a nice little gatefold. Would have been nice to have the deluxe version as well. I really want the Massey Hall album by Neil Young because I'm Canadian. Massey Hall is just, an hour away from my house. And, I've been there many times. So it's kind of cool to have an album from there. But yeah, this one is pretty cool. Standard black, nothing, fancy. It would be kind of cool to have gotten the deluxe version, but yeah, standard it works for me. I managed to get the hype sticker off the cover, and I threw it on the inner sleeve. So yeah, pretty cool album. And then yeah, I just end with 2 soundtracks. So I got the Goonies Soundtrack. So pretty cool album, very nostalgic for me. Saw Goonies in the theater way back when. Always loved it. Inner sleeve here, you get some nice snapshots from the film. And nothing really too fancy about it, just on the Epic label. And then I picked up a final soundtrack. newly reissued on vinyl. And that is Back to the Future. So we're all familiar with The Power of Love by Huey Lewis, but there's some other good songs on here. And you get a few bit of snippets from the score as well. There's the center label sleeves. And yeah, 2 sides. Nothing fancy, not on colored vinyl. No insert other than your album. Just a basic kind of presentation, but I'll take it. Anyway, that wraps up my vinyl pickups. Until next time, cheers.